Welcome, welcome. Hello. Welcome to another stream. I hope you guys are excited for this one, because I know I am. Because may the 4th be with you. Oh, goodness. If you are here and ready to paint, let me know in the comments below. I'm excited for tonight. Yay! I want to go grab my water. But yeah, let me know in the comments below if you're here, where you're from, who you're painting with. If you're watching the live replay of this, once it comes out a little later, I will have links, timestamps below that you can either skip this chat, go straight to the supplies or whatever. If you are new to the channel and you don't know, I have traceables now for all my classes, including this one, in my Patreon. So that's a gift for anyone who supports me on Patreon. So if you would like a traceable for this class, make sure to go on over there. You can pledge at any amount. And yeah, if you do join a tier, you will get more like rewards for it, but it's for any tier, any amount. And you can go ahead and grab that. I actually just printed out my own personal traceable. And during this live chat, I'm going to go ahead and put that traceable on my canvas. I also have tips and tricks in my Patreon of like how to transfer it and things like that. So there's a lot of fun things in the Patreon, not just for traceables, but also extra tutorials and all sorts of things. But yeah, I'm really excited. Let's see. Hello, hello. All right, get some water. If you are new to the channel, let me know in the comments below. I always love hearing who's new, or if you're like in some crazy climate. For those who are new and don't know, we do have, I talk and chat for about half an hour. So if you've never done any of my classes and you don't know, we won't start class until 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you're here ready to paint, we won't be painting for another 20 minutes. But say hi. Hey, say hi in the chat. Let me know you're here. And yeah, we'll get going soon. Just gonna use my little trick to do my traceable. It's weird. Oh, that's why it's turning off. Weird. I'm not seeing any comments. Are you guys commenting? I guess if you commented that you're commenting, you wouldn't be able to see. That's weird. If you're here, comment below so I can see if this is working. Because comments definitely help in the stream. That's weird. Usually there's like people chatting by now. Yeah, if you're here, let me know. It's weird. Let me pop it out and see if... Oh, that's weird. You're all here and it wasn't showing. Let me see if I can pop this back in. Or I'll just leave it. I'll just leave it like that. I'll just have the pop out. Alright. Alright, I gotta catch up on all these comments now because you guys are commenting and I couldn't see it. How weird. Okay, give me a second. Something's going on. Okay. Hello. We are a family of 5 ready for a fun night. Yay! Hello. From Canada. If we have a traceable, should I have traced it on the canvas? During this time, that's what I'm doing. So I'm taking this time to get everything ready, get my paints out, get my brushes out, and trace. So if you have a panel, which you can't really see through, I would suggest maybe cutting it out and then kind of drawing in the rest of it. But if you have like a canvas where you can like see through it, see if you can even see through, yeah, you can see through it, then just tape it to the back and put a light behind it. First class for our family as well. Awesome. Yes, all my live classes are available after the event. They save directly to my YouTube, and they're all available. So everything that I've taught live from, goodness, 7 months from October is available on my YouTube channel. Woo! My pencil just like broke. Let's see. My friend is trying to start art and he's not sure if tracing is good or not to start. What do you think? If you're not comfortable drawing it, I will be going over some general shapes to help those who don't have a traceable, but a lot of times for beginners, it's actually really helpful to have a traceable because then you don't have to constantly worry about, you know, the overall structure of what you're painting and just be focused on, you know, in painting there's so many things to focus on, like blending, how much water, color matching, and things like that. So if he's new, or if anybody's new and would like to have the traceable, I say why not? It's just one less thing to think about in trying, like, because you could get all the other things right, but if the structure isn't right, and, you know, sometimes that can be like, oh, well, I don't like it because, you know, his ears are too small or something like that, which you know, if you are drawing it, props to you, go for it if you want to do that. And then be proud of it. Don't get frustrated if it doesn't look like mine. Like, I spent probably a good hour sketching it, resketching it, putting it in a program, going over a line, erasing lines, redoing it, to get it, you know, quote unquote perfect in my eyes, and to have available for all of you. So if you're, you know, doing this and it's not, you know, exactly looks like mine, that's okay. So if you want to just draw it, go for it. Take this next 15 minutes to draw it out. And if you're not comfortable with that and you want to trace it, I have it in my Patreon. And you can get that at any tier, any level of support. Let's see. Yes, it's going to be available later. How's it going? I'm going to put my painting over my computer setup. You're painting over your computer setup. I don't know what you mean. Is that a question? Is there a question in there? Miriam, I hope you were able to get your question answered. I know you asked it like 3 or 4 times. I couldn't see the comments. But yes, all my classes are available after the class. I think the video does have to take like a 10-minute break to process in order to be like fully available. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's available close to after we're done. You're new. Hello, Linda. Ready to paint? Me too. Micah, no, I have not used the paint markers before. The only paint markers I've used, it was like a white paint pen. I don't remember what I used it for, but it wasn't for like drawing or anything like that. You're welcome. Yeah, I love doing free online classes. I think it's a lot of fun, and a lot of people don't have the money for art classes and things like that, and I love being able to provide it for you. Not a lot of people can paint, and not everybody can teach, and it's just something I feel like I was gifted with, and so I want to share it. But yeah, I only have like 10 minutes to like trace this, so if you have any questions, please make sure to ask away. I can chat while I'm doing this. If you are using the traceable or even drawing on your canvas, try to draw lightly, because any paint that you do have will most likely, it might change the color of the paint slightly because of the graphite. If you have like if you have like maybe a colored pencil or something like that, that tends to not change the color as much, because it's made of something different. But yeah. Are you going to show us how to draw it? I will give a couple tips and main shapes of everything, for those who are not using the traceable. But since I do have it available for people, I won't be spending too much time on it, but I will give you just overall shapes and everything, and details, that just to make sure you don't miss them. So yeah, if you don't want to do the traceable, that's fine. I will be giving some tips, but I won't be spending too much time on it. Fun fact, my husband's birthday is on May the 4th. So his birthday is tomorrow, which I'm slightly glad that my paint nights are on Monday, because it like forced me to have it on like the day before the 4th rather than like on his birthday, because I think I would have been sad, or I might have like not done anything, just because, you know, it's his birthday. But we still get to celebrate tomorrow. Thank you so much for the printable. Worked awesome. You're welcome. Happy to support you in this paint night. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, it's just another way to support. I mean, these are free for everyone, but obviously for those who want to support, they can. Can we save this video for afterwards? Yeah, just click on it and put it in your, you know, watch later list or whatever. It'll be available for forever. Are you doing it step by step? Yes, I am doing it step by step. I won't be putting in as much effort into the actual drawing of it, because honestly, it does take a long time to do it, but I will be giving some tips on just general shape and everything, and then we'll just get to painting. I think it took me maybe an hour, a little over an hour to paint it all. And that was not including the trace, or that was not including the like drawing it. So if you haven't started drawing it, you should start drawing it, and then I can always give you some tips and you can kind of make adjustments. To get the printable, we have to pay. Yes, it's more of a donation, or just to support me. So I have a Patreon here. I can link it below. I have a Patreon, and it's where people can support, and anything you give. So you could give $1, you could give $3. The lowest tier is $5. So if you want more for your, you know, money per se, you could join the lowest tier, and you can get have access to all of the quick tips that I've done for the last 7 months, art challenges and all that stuff. But yes, think of it more as like a donation. I like to think of it, because how Patreon works is you can sign up for any amount of time. So you can sign up for a month, which is like it's a monthly basis. It's like a monthly membership. So here, let me just get you the link for the actual traceable. Oops, wrong one. And that'll just be easier. Give me 1 second. I'll just get you the link. Okay, so here's the link for the actual traceable if you would like to have it. Okay. I forgot what I was saying. Okay, so Patreon is a month-to-month like membership, but you can sign up for a month and get a traceable, and then you can dip. You'll still have access for that entire month. So later in this month, I'm doing a sunflower at dusk painting. So you'll have the traceable for that. That one's actually already available. And I continually put out live class work, and there's a $7 tier that I do extra classes for. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more than just my live classes, and it's like they're all pre-recorded, so you can stop it at any time. You won't have to wait for the class to come out or anything like that. There's that too. So what paints am I using? I am actually using little plug. I'm using Hippie Crafter. They sent me these paints to try out, so I'll have a review video coming soon, but I will be using these tonight. I haven't linked them in the description of this event because I wasn't planning on using them, but I've been using them the last 2 or 3 classes that I've done, and I love them as much as any of my other paints that I've done, so that's what I will be doing. The paints, the colors I'll be using, they should be in the description of the video. I can look at that real quick for you. I should just have it up. Silly me. I mean, it's pretty much what you see, you know, the green, the blue, black, white, and then some browns and yellow. That is essentially, you don't have to use the same exact colors that I do. I'll be sharing exactly what I'm using, but by no means do you need to use exactly what I'm using. But those are the colors. You know, your green, yellow, black, white, blue, brown. I think that's it. I'm not looking at the actual painting right now. Just so you all know, I am drawing mine a tinsy bit darker than I normally would on canvas because I want you all to be able to see my drawing and what parts we're painting and all of that. Let's see. So I'm just finishing tracing mine. I didn't have time to do it earlier, or I would have. That's okay. That's what these chats are for. I'm here to answer any questions, and we're here to get ready to paint. Micah, no, I do not have a TikTok. I don't do TikTok yet. I don't know. I have an Instagram for anyone interested in that. I'm still figuring out what to post on Instagram because I mainly use Facebook. Instagram just never really took off for me in that way, and I mainly use Facebook because before I did YouTube, I would do Facebook live for my classes, and that's kind of where I gained a following initially. So I think my Instagram only has like less than 600 people on it, so it's definitely not where my main people are, if that makes sense, because you're all here on Facebook and YouTube. For those drawing, when we do get to that, the frog's feet and legs, it's supposed to be like whimsical, so it does not need to be exactly like mine. I mean, it's kind of, the whole thing is kind of like a whimsical, cartoony, so just, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. how's everybody doing? We're like, depending on your location, are you almost like out of lockdown in regards to COVID? Like, is everything kind of coming back to normal a little bit? I know that we're in San Diego, and I think in June, end of May, June, or maybe July, within the next like couple months, apparently they're lifting everything. Masks and stuff are still like, you know, not mandatory, but like requested. But it seems like we are heading out hopefully soon. I don't know about you, but I am ready to be done with this. Ontario's in full lockdown. Yeah, I think we're in, what are the stages? Red, orange. I think we're in orange. I think we're in orange right now, so it's not like awful. Josh, where are you? I think it's so bad here. Lockdown, online school. I can't imagine having kids and having to do online school. Like, I mean, I plan to do homeschool, so it's like, it's only what I know, but I can't imagine being used to going to school, especially for the kids, and then just having to up and like not see your friends. I mean, I don't see my friends anyways anymore, but like just like as a kid going through that, I can't imagine. Yeah, that would be really hard. Just imagine my younger self being in high school and going through that. That would be really hard. All right, we are about to begin. It is 30 seconds until we start. Ish. Make sure I got all my lines in here. Doo-doo. All right. That's pretty good. All right, let's get started. Let's see. Oh my gosh, I was just staring at my light. Okay. Turn my sound off from my phone. Okay. Ta-da! Hello, and welcome to our class. This thing, I love it. It's kind of in the way. Is that better? Is that okay? All right. It was like casting a shadow, which is weird. All right. Hello. Yeah, you can paint it later. That's totally fine.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4.
Was that coming through?
I don't know. But let me go to here and check out on the other side. Let's see if people can hear you.
Yeah. Alright, hello. Let me know if you can hear me. For some reason, my audio input in the program just stopped. The audio might be different in terms of it might not be good audio, but some audio is better than nothing. So, okay, perfect. Yay! Yay, yay, yay. Okay. So this time around, here, let me go back to the other scene. Okay, so as you can see, I now have 2 cameras, so I'm not sure if having 2 cameras plus the audio might have messed something up, so we'll make sure we get that fixed for next time. But as of right now, let's get to painting. Where did I leave off? I don't even know. When are we having chicken dinner? I think we're having turkey tonight, actually. Thank you for all of your patience. Yeah, if you have not, let me go over the supplies real quick, or not the supplies, the drawing real quick, so that those who have not started drawing yet can get in their drawings, and then after I go over some tidbits of the drawing, then you can, I'll go over the other stuff that I'm doing, okay? The other stuff that we're using. You guys can hear me fine, right? If I'm talking at this level? Okay. So, for the drawing, let's see, where did my pencil go? Okay. So for the drawing, you want it centered. I mean, technically you don't need it centered. But for those who are drawing, my tidbit right now is if you put your hands like this, depending on how big your traceable is, or depending on how big your canvas is, this is about how big, okay? So it's about 1/3 of the page, okay? So you could, what I might do is just draw a box, like draw a rectangle in the middle, and you can kind of curve everything at that, okay? So essentially you have 3 sections. You have the head, you have the, this is like collar thing, and his arms, and then you have his bottom and his feet. And then over to the side, if you cut him in half in the middle, everything is pretty much just flip-flopped. And then you have, on the right side, you have the frog, okay? And the frog is about the same size as that middle section, okay? Oops, I am moving my lead. Let's see. So I would just start drawing, and if anybody has like questions or anything like that, they can ask me during the process of me going over the rest of the materials. As for the ear, so the head, so everything is kind of straight up, and then the head kind of comes to a curve, okay? Note that the point, the top of the ear hits the top of the head, but it comes down to a point and then goes back up and then goes back up. Other little tidbits, let's see. Don't forget the nails. I forgot the nails the first time that I drew it. Can anybody guess where the frog is from? This specific frog? Disney fans out there? There's no prize or anything if you get it, but I'm just curious if anybody can figure it out. Okay. Alright, so while you're drawing that, the colors we are using are going to be green. I have a bright green. I have my yellow. This is medium yellow. Princess and Frog movie. Ah, close. That would be, I mean, it kind of looks like that, but that wasn't where I got the inspiration from. So we have green, yellow. We have white and black. Put these over here. My black go. White, black, yellow, green. And then you could use either raw umber or burnt umber, just any dark brown. Because you want to have those dark so that you can lighten them up. And then obviously a blue for the background. Lilo and Stitch, ding ding ding. As someone said earlier, winner winner chicken dinner. Yes, it's from Lilo and Stitch. If you picture Stitch after he saves the frog. It's like the second encounter with the frog, and he's like holding him off to the side. And it's just like, yeah, little frog. It's adorable. All right, green, yellow. What else do we have? Green, yellow, brown, blue, black, white. Okay, so I just need to get my blue out. The original blue that I used is from my other colors, and the Happy Crafter doesn't have that exact color. So I will be using, it's called Lake Blue. I really like this blue. So I will be using that. How's everybody doing on either drawing or tracing? Let me know where you're at, because we do have to make kind of a late start because of the audio difficulties. And I do want to make sure that we get all the details. Yeah, so these are the colors I'm using. Yellow, green, white, black, brown, blue. Okay. Good to go, done, good. And some of these little details, like the spots and some of the lines in the forehead and the hair, you don't need to draw that in. You don't need to draw in the fur and the ears and like those sorts of details. Took us an hour to trace 3 canvases with a projector. That's funny. Well, at least you had the projector. It's not letting me open to trace or draw. It says I have to pay to open. Are you a patron? Because only patrons have access to the traceable. So a patron is essentially you can support at any level or at any amount. If you do want, traceables are a gift that I give to all my patrons, or essentially those who support me. So if you did want that, yeah, it is behind a paywall, I guess. But yeah. Let's see. Other tidbits. I'm trying to think. The first time I painted this, I forgot about the little. He's got like little. He's got little like folds. So you can put that in. I completely forgot to put it in. And you don't have to put it in. It's just little details. But give me 1 second.
No, close the door.
Okay, I think I got all my paint out. And you can hear me. I want to go ahead and go over the rest of the supplies while everybody's kind of finishing up. So we have this, and actually I can, yeah, that's fine. So we have, I'm using 11 by 14, but the traceable works for an 11 by 14 or a 9 by 12. If you go smaller than a 9 by 12, it might cut off some of the ears or the toes, or might just be kind of short. I went over the paint. Brushes. I have a brush kit that I recommend to all my students. It's in the link below, and it has just a variety of, it's from Amazon. I bought it. It's a pretty cheap kit, and I bought it just so that I can use what you guys were using. And yeah, so that's what I'll be using. For the background, I'll be using a filbert. And then I'll kind of tell you what else I'm using as I'm going. I might use something different than what I was using when I originally did this. But I love my filbert brushes because I feel like they are very versatile. And because of the round tip, you can get in all sorts of places that have that round tip or have that roundness to it. And then obviously we'll probably use a smaller brush. Let me see, like one of these. I use these interchangeably. One's a little bit smaller than the other, but they're not by much. Somebody just said no sound. Can someone confirm that there's no sound, or are they behind? They might be behind. Let's see. Other things we are using. Obviously your paper, your paper towel. Sorry, your water and your paper towel. And yeah, I think that's it. Are we all ready? Are we ready to get started? Usually the first 20 minutes is kind of prepped anyway, so I think we're running right on time. If you have kids and you don't want to worry about painting the sides, I would suggest to get some tape, and you can just tape the sides so then they won't even have to worry about painting the sides because they often forget. Heck, I often forget to paint the sides. So that is all up to y'all. That's where that went. Alright, got my paintbrushes. The first thing we are doing is we are going to go ahead and put on our blue and our white. So whatever blue you want, I would suggest doing a lighter blue. If you have a darker blue, it's really going to just darken the whole atmosphere of it. And I feel like this painting is very happy and light. So I would suggest doing a cool gray or a lake blue or maybe a cobalt blue. Something that you can, it's a little bit darker on the outside, but you can brighten it up with white for the inside. And I'll show you how to do that as we go. Let me turn off. For anybody wondering, I've really been liking these Hippie Crafter acrylics. I feel like they're super smooth. I can use them with a palette knife and everything. But I will definitely be giving a review of that soon because I really like them. Let's see. Okay, are we ready to start? Whoops. So many technical difficulties this time around. I just stepped on the cord and it unplugged. Okay. let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go right into a little bit of water, dab it off, grab some blue. I'm going to start. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to start in the upper left corner and kind of work my way around. For this specific one, I'm going to go around the design and not like over it. But it's better to go over the line and into the design versus not go too much, because then you'll have to kind of account for that when we're painting in our baby Yoda. I almost called him baby Grogu. That was weird, which I guess that's not incorrect. So I'm going to go in directly into my blue. And what I'm going to do is, as I go into the middle of the canvas and close to baby Yoda, I'm going to start adding that white, and it will naturally lighten up. I'm not going to rinse out my brush, none of that. So I have this, I'm going to go straight into my white. And this background is meant to kind of be not splotchy, but like textured. So it's okay if it's not like perfectly blended. It's just supposed to be kind of a little bit lighter next to the character. So I grab my white, I'm not rinsing out my brush, grab my white, and then I just mix it into the blue that's already there. If this blue starts to dry a little bit, you can grab a little bit of water with your white, and that will help continue to mix it together. But anytime I want to do something close to the character, I'm just going to grab some of that white. It's not going to be pure white because it's already mixed with some of the blue that's already on my brush, and that's kind of what you want. I always forget this side of the canvas, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now before I forget. Alright. Let's got a little bit more of our blue in here. And I'm going to go ahead and start adding that white. So I'm just doing very small, short little strokes when I'm mixing it all together or when I'm trying to blend it. And again, this is just the background, and it does not need to be perfectly blended. That's kind of the point of this sort of background. to just kind of allow it to, you know, be what it wants to be. The canvas goes out of focus. Let's see. Let me watch. The canvas goes out of focus? I'm not sure. It might just be because it's focusing on my hand, which is what's closest, versus the actual canvas. In which case, that's a setting on the camera that I would have to change. But I'm not totally sure how at this point. I haven't played around with the camera that much. Whenever you're trying to blend something, if it's not blending as much as you want to, you can always add just a little bit, either more paint or a little bit of water, and that will help. That will help blend. Also for his toes, for the little feet on the frog, you don't need to. You can go over that because it's really hard to get in all those little tiny nooks and crannies. And you can just kind of make new little toes when we color that in. It'll just be easier and quicker. Alright, when you get to kind of underneath him, you won't put any white. So that's the only difference between this whole process, is you'll keep it that really dark. That's kind of his shadow. So you can keep that part dark. So I'm just using my main blue. Because it's a little bit darker, I try a little bit harder not to go over the little feet, but if you do, that's fine. You'll just have to go over it with white as a first coat when you're going over it, which I think I did last time anyway, so. It's up to you how careful you want to be. And then you just go back to adding white to the middle of this again. Kind of gives them a little bit of a shadow. I need a little bit more white. Add that. It's so easy to add more paint. I added glasses to my frog. Okay. He's a smart one. Alright, how's everyone doing? Let me know. think I'm done with my background. Doing great. That's what I like to hear. Does anybody do anything to celebrate May the 4th? Like, do you do like marathons or anything like that? Like the Star Wars or anything like that? I always thought it was funny that they celebrate Star Wars on the 4th of May when like the first movie came out on the 25th. And but that just doesn't sound as good. So May the 25th be with you. At least I think it came out on the 25th. Read somewhere. Because when I watch Star Wars. Do you watch like the whole franchise? I feel like that would be impossible in one day. My husband and I just got finished with the Clone Wars, so we're trying to like go through it chronologically. And the 5th is Return of the 5th. It's funny, I've never heard that before. Instead of 5th, yeah. Yep, that's funny. Alright, let's go ahead. It seems like people are finishing up. So let's go ahead and do other stuff. Okay, so we're going to be working from back to front, which means we're going to be doing the head first, okay, and then we'll be doing, we'll do his toes then as well, just because even though that's like a front. And then we'll be doing his cloak, and the layers of the cloak. The second layer is like the brown cloak, and then we'll be doing the frog last. My husband went to the movies and watched them all one year. Wow. I mean, now there's even more though. There's like, how many movies are there now? There's all like the one-offs like Solo and the ones with Rey. Are there 3 of those now? Were those episodes? Those weren't. I don't remember. It's been so long since I've seen the latter ones. Okay, stop talking about Star Wars. That's what we're here for. Come on. Am I telling myself that? I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and grab some green. I have this really vibrant green. I would call it like a lime green or a vibrant green. This hippie crafter says pale green, which in my mind, pale is like, you know, you add white to it, but that's what it's called. We are going to be adding white to it. So for this green, I'm going to grab probably about half of this, and I'm going to mix it with some white. We want a pretty light green, and to tone down some of this color, because this is a very like bright lime green, so depending on the green that you have, I am going to be adding just a touch of brown to this to tone down that vibrant color. Believe it or not, there is brown in my green. Just start with little bits at a time. I think I definitely need more white in my mixture. We can blend what we are using. Can we blend what we are using? What do you mean? In terms of colors? Can you blend? Can we blend what we are using? Can you blend the colors that you're using? Not sure what the question is. I'm going to add a little bit more white to this because I think I want to go a little bit more pale than I did in my original one. I was just looking back through some pictures and he was a little bit more pale. So I want to add just a little bit more white and kind of make that adjustment. Which is kind of the fun thing about painting it twice is I feel like you can really fix any, not necessarily mistakes, but just like adjusting. Yeah, so like you can blend any of the colors. You don't, like, by no means do you have to use every color is straight out of the bottle. I most of the time will blend my colors before I place them. See, now I think that's too. I'm just gonna go back and forth between these colors. Like, are we allowed mixing? Yes, of course. Yes, mix your colors. For instance, I'm making this, like, the green that I have, if I were to just put this vibrant green on there, oh my goodness, he would be so green. Yeah, add your white, add a little bit of brown, make the color that you want him to be. So I think I like this color. I don't know if I have enough of it, but we'll find out. Whenever you're mixing colors, I would say try to mix more than you think you'll use. But, you know. Alright, so then we're just going to fill in this area. When we do the ears, we're just going to add like a touch of brown right where like the inside of the ear is. We also can add this a little bit later too. But as of right now, I'm just going to put in this color and then get that base coat of green on there. So now that I have this like base shape and base color, I can take a little bit of my brown, like the tiniest bit, I'm talking like not a lot at all, just enough to tint it. I can even pre-mix it a little bit on my canvas. On my palette, sorry. And just to get that a little bit, and then just mix it with that green and mix it down. I'm just doing a lot of little tiny strokes. And you can always go back in if you don't feel like it's dark enough, you can go back in with a little bit more of a dark brown. Maybe go right in where you feel like the ear goes in. Make more of that line, and then make sure to rinse your brush out before you go in back into the green to do the rest of the face. Because you don't want to pull that green in, or you don't want to pull that brown into the rest. Or maybe you do. I don't know. It's your painting. You get to choose your own adventure and make it your own. I'm trying not to use too much water because water definitely dilutes the paint and it makes it so that you can see through it. So during this initial process, I'm trying not to use too much water. During this process, or you can do this later, totally up to you. During this process, if you want, you can add your white and mix it in just like we did the brown. You can take some of your white and just add it a little bit to the top, and it's kind of like that highlight shimmer that he can have, and it's a lot easier to blend if all the paints are wet. But if that scares you and you don't want to do that, you can always just add a little bit of diluted paint later, which I'll show you how to do if you don't want to do it right now. Totally up to you. But there's many ways to like add highlights and shadows and stuff, and those are two ways. You can do it while it's wet, or you can do it later with just diluted paint. And you can do what we call like washing. You do like a wash of paint. So just like the other side, I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to paint in the top of the ear, and then go ahead and line the bottom, paint in the bottom, making sure that my line is pretty even, it's pretty smooth at the bottom. And then once I get that in, I'm just going to kind of fill in this spot because I know I want that to mix in with the brown. I'm going to grab a tiny bit of brown, mix that in with what's on my brush, so the green, and then I'm going to just go over that line. And go back in with a tiny bit of brown, just at the very tip, very like where the ear is, kind of under there, so it darkens it up a bit. And then I'm going to rinse out my brush because I need to go back over just where the face is real fast, which is fine. I can do that. I'm going to do it just a little bit over here too, making sure that I still keep that kind of round face. And just like before, you can add just a little bit of white, or you can do this later. I always like to kind of do both, or do one, and then if I feel like it's necessary, I can do some more, like this is like a shimmer highlight, and then if I need like a more vibrant highlight, like a direct light, then I can do just the white line on top. Alright, there you go, little baby Yoda. We are going to add just a little bit of a shadow. So with this one, I did my my green that I had, and then just the tiniest bit of blue, which this time around I don't have any blue left, so I'm just gonna grab tiniest bit. Apologize for the quacking. So a little bit of blue and the tiniest bit of brown, just to kind of darken it up. My head is crooked. That's okay. Maybe he's like kind of like tilted to the side, like. That's okay, honestly. You can also have an illusion if one of your ears, you can fix it. If you bring like an ear up, that could help balance it out if you don't like the crookedness. Okay, so now I'm just going to take this darker color, which was essentially, oops, I just added too much. It was essentially my green. I added blue to it and a touch of brown. Not what I just did, but I fixed it. Okay, and then you're just going to add that to down here to the bottom. And you can add it to the ears too if you want. Just anywhere where there could be like a shadow. And then I'm just going to quickly rinse out my brush, grab some of my normal green so I can blend it in a little bit. And this is optional. You don't have to do this, but you're learning new skills, right? Cat in a box. What is that? Okay. Alright. So, as you can see with that last stroke, I went over the eyes. That's okay. Like, I'm going to be going over it with white and black, so I don't need to be worried about, like, you know, going over it. If anything, I kind of want to make his eyes cheeky. He's kind of smiling. Okay. Let's move on to his cloak. Oh, let's do his little feet first. I'm just gonna put his little feet. I'm using a smaller brush, but use whatever you're comfortable with. I added a moon because I saw the stars and I love your art. Oh, thanks. Yeah, there's a lot of different like fan art online. A lot of them have like the moon and stars above, and I thought it'd be cute. I just wanted to have a simple background for mine. Simple background. Okay, so let's go ahead and make our brown. We're going to make two types of brown right now. One is going to be for the main cloak color, kind of, well, I'm going to say bottom and top. So you have the bottom and then you have the top, which is like the collar and like the sleeve caps. So we're going to make 2 browns. One is going to be darker, and the other one's going to be lighter, obviously. So I do need more brown on here. And then I'll just use that one over here. You are going to need some yellow for the top one, so go ahead and put that on your palette. And we'll need that for later anyways, so don't worry about not using it, because we're going to be using it for the mixing the base color of the frog as well as the eyes of the frog. Alright, we also need some black. Oop, this is violet. This is not black. When your purple is so dark that you thought it was black. Okay, get a little bit of black in here. Alright. So for the bottom, we'll do the darker color first. For the bottom color, it's got a little bit of that faded color in it. So we're going to add just the tiniest bit of white to it. Just to fade out the rich color that it has right now. And then we're going to add a little bit of black. So adding black and white to something fades out the color because you're essentially adding gray. Which is just going to tone back the color. And honestly, these 2 colors can really be any brown that you want. So you don't have to make it exactly the color that I have here. I'm just sharing what I used and the colors that I used and how I made them. Okay. That's pretty much the colors that I used. And then obviously I used, maybe not obviously to some people, but I used white to lighten it up and then my brown and black to darken it up. So anytime I go close to where there might be a shadow, I'm going to darken it up a little bit. And then when I come up here and make it lighter, I'm going to lighten it up with the white, okay? So the second color, do we want to do the second color right now? Now let's go ahead and paint it, and then we'll make the second color after. Kind of do it in batches. I'm using my medium filbert again. I like this filbert because it's a medium size, so I feel like it covers a good amount of ground without, taking too long. But it's small enough where I can still make really thin lines. Because if I wanted to make really thin lines, watch this. See how thin lines I can make with this big fat brush. So it's super helpful. I really love it. Now I think that this brown, now that I've put it on here, is too dark. So I'm going to go ahead and use it for my darker spots. And grab some white so I can lighten it up. add a little bit of darkness where this fold is. I don't know where all this fold is. Honestly, this is a detail you don't have to do. You can follow exactly what I did and not have this much detail, and that's totally fine. If you are a little bit more advanced and up for the challenge yourself. Try to get those blendings down a little bit more. But if you're new at painting, I know that sometimes blending like this can be really intimidating. So you don't have to do all of this little detail stuff. You can just paint it like I did, flat colors with a tiny bit of shading. If you guys ever have any questions, feel free to ask me. That's why I'm here. Alright, so I'm just kind of putting highlights and shadows in different places. Just trying to think of like where the light would be shining off of the different folds. Um, and then for this under here, it's pretty much going to be mostly dark because the frog is casting shadow. For anyone who's not a part of my Facebook community, I have a free Facebook group that you can share all your artwork after you're done. So if you want to become a part of that and post your work after you're done, I know I have a ton of kids painting with me tonight. So definitely, I would love to see all their artwork. That's just facebook.com/groups/SamanthaAndersonArtist. And that's just my community where we get to all share from my classes and things like that. So I'll also post. I also post pretty regularly about upcoming classes there, any speed paintings that I do, and things like that. So if you're not joined there, definitely check that out. Hi, how are we doing? We still on the same track? I'm gonna go ahead and do this guy, his arm. I'm gonna make it a little bit darker as it comes down over into this area. And then this little riff, this little part of his is going to be catching just a tad bit more light than right there. So I'm going to go back to light. Kind of fade back into that dark as it comes over. As it comes over a little bit. And then I'm going to go straight into the dark right here. Oh, this is such a cute pairing. Yeah, I think so too. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the dark brown. I'm gonna go ahead and make my light brown now. So I'm not gonna mix it with this original dark brown that I have, just in case I need to make some I almost said edits. I'm in the digital art now, so like making edits or something. In case I want to fix any mess ups in the future, if I need to fix this line or anything like that, I'm gonna leave the reserve of this dark brown, so don't get rid of that. Okay, so make a new brown from the plain brown that you have. So I have so it's mainly the same colors, but we're gonna add a little bit of yellow to it. So I'm going to grab some white. There is going to be a lot more white this time around, but the yellow will also brighten it up. Yeah, we'll need a lot more white. And I think I might even add a tiny bit of red to make it more of like an orangey, more of like an orangey brown versus like the yellowy brown. I think I might have done that before. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this red, and I'll let you know. I think I did. I think I might have added like orange instead of just plain yellow. Because the red and orange will like warm up a color. Okay, so I like this color better. So you have more of like this tan color. And we will be using a lot of white, just like last time. We used a lot of white to brighten it up. So that's kind of what we'll be doing. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some more white. We'll need more of that to help brighten it up. So this is probably the darkest part of that color. Now I can start going into that white and mixing it in like little circles. This part of the this part of the, like, I want to say costume, like his thing, probably has the most amount of like fuzz, like fur ball type of like texture to it. So this is probably the most amount of, like, it doesn't need to be smooth blending. It can kind of be a little bit more abstract if you need to. So I put the darkest part right next to the frog, and then I'm going in with my white, and that's going to blend with that paint that's already on there. Help brighten it up. And I'm going to make it a little bit dark right under his ear. We didn't do his fingers. Is that the same green as his face? Yes, it is. But that is over. That's in front of the frog. So we're going to do the frog first, and then we're going to do his fingers. So like if you think about like what's behind it. So that's also why we didn't do this yet, because we're going to wait until we do the frog, his fingers, and then here. I mean, theoretically we could do that. We just have to be careful with the fingers. But yeah, usually in my classes I try to teach just work back to front, because then you won't have to like go back and fix things as often. So yeah. I love your art. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it. All right. So there's that. So yeah, we're gonna wait a little bit. We're gonna wait a little bit to do this. I am going to, however, make this part a little bit darker. And then there's got to be a little bit more dark in here. Okay. Okay, so yeah, the next thing we're going to do, we are going to make the little belly, okay? The belly of the frog, which is this it's mostly white. It's going to be white, yellow, and a tiny bit of brown. So let's go ahead and make that. There's not a lot of it, so we don't have to make a whole lot of it. Just get your white. It's mostly white. A little bit of yellow. And I'm just going to take some of this brown that we're using for the top and the cuff and just blend that all together. Even just that little bit amount of color is already too much. So I'm going to go ahead and get more white. Alright, I think this is pretty good. Rinse out my brush. I'm going to take some of this color and yeah, I think that's good. Now because this is a very light color, if you did go over it all with your blue, you are going to probably have to do 2 coats, at least in that section. A little belly fold hanging out. How the rest of this. All right, almost 5:30. I feel like we're doing pretty good on time. We just have the frog to do and then the black. All right, so this is where you can get a little bit of white and lighten up any areas, like you can do that extra coat right here if you need to. But anywhere where there might be like light coming from like behind, kind of on the side. But this is totally optional. Just gonna go ahead and blend that in, which is really just me pulling some of that paint over. And then if you wanted to, you could get the slightest amount of that brown color and kind of give a little bit of shadow to this side. Again, these are like little details that you do not have to do, but I think they really add to it. Like already now you can see that there's kind of like a natural highlight and low light just by adding those little bits of details. And it didn't take very long. It didn't take very long to add that little detail. But I think it really does make a difference in the whole aspect of things, okay? So right now, before we get to the green of the frog, we do have to do a little bit of touch-up. So I'm going to go in with my white, and this is where I'm going to not only do the eyes, but I'm going to do anywhere where I went over it with blue. I'm going to need to kind of repaint or redraw in where those colors are on, so that when we put the green on, it's going to go on nicely. Okay. So for instance, let me start with the eye. There is white, and I'm just going to paint everywhere where there's white, where I know there's going to be white. I might have to do a double coat up here because this is very dark green. Maybe not. I don't have to worry about that because that's going to be covered with black, so that'll be fine. His fingers, I can go ahead and do that. This will just give me a better idea of not only where I'm painting, but also I won't have to do, I mean, essentially this is the double coat, this is the first coat, but your green will just go on so much easier by doing this first. So essentially I do 4 strokes, and then on the ends of it, I'm just going to put little dots, and then pull the rest of the paint up. And then I'm just going to do the same thing down here. Cover up all the blue. I'm going to cover up this brown that I went over, and we'll just help create that layer. Alright, I have one more foot to do. There you go. Alright, so now you got your frog kind of put in there better. Alright, let's go ahead. Oh, I forgot his eye. I'm going to do his eye. Alright, so let's go ahead and make our green. Our green for our frog. I think that's the next thing we're going to do. Let's see. Yes. Let's do that. Okay, so I have this bright green here, and that's mainly going to be the color, but I'm going to brighten it up with some yellow and potentially some white so it's not so green. I'm actually going to take all of this yellow and start adding green to it because I think this green is mostly yellow. Look at that. It's already that color. If I would have started with the green, I would have had to have a lot more yellow, which I think I need more paint anyway, so I'm going to have to add yellow anyway. A little bit more green. Yeah, I don't think I need to add white. I'll save adding white for like the highlights. All right. Okay. Let me know if you need help making that color. So for the shadow, we're going to do the same thing that we did with the other green. So we're going to add just a tiny bit of blue and like a touch of brown to get that darker, but we'll do that. We'll do that when we get there. What country do you live in? Just wondering for me because it's 8:33 p.m. It is 5:33 p.m. here. Well, 5:35 now. But it is. I'm in California. I live in San Diego, next to the beach. So that's where I'm at. I know I have a lot of East Coast painters with me. I have a lot of patrons from the East Coast and Canada. So there's that. It's kind of fun. Yeah, of course. Ryan, what are you saying same for? That you live on the East Coast, Canada, or you live in California? Next to the beach. And just like we did with before where we added like the white on top, we can do that now too. It's a little bit of highlight. I think my frog is a little bit too yellow. It looks a lot greener on my palette than it does there. So I'm actually going to change this color before I get too far and make it greener. Okay, that's better. I'm in Ontario, Canada, and we are in lockdown. So Yeah, I think I underestimated how great these classes were going to be. Because honestly, I only started doing this because of lockdown. So for anyone who hasn't been following me since the beginning, I used to face paint and do parties. Um, and with that face painting also came like painting parties. So I would teach bi-weekly at a place called the Brew Coffee Spot. It's local in La Mesa. Shout out to them. And um, they used to let me paint there and teach, and it was a lot of fun. I used to do stuff in person. But since lockdown happened, I obviously no one was going anywhere, and we weren't allowed to do that. So I was like, well, I still want to teach and paint and things like that. So I started doing online classes, and it started off just being like, I don't know, like my normal students would paint with me. I had like maybe 10, 15 people, and then last September, all of a sudden, I started getting recognized by a lot of different people from all over the place. Um, and in one stream, I had like 700 people, and it was crazy. It was ridiculous. I don't think I've ever had that many people um, on a stream since, but it was definitely crazy. And that was when I was still on Facebook. And so Facebook Facebook is great. Facebook Live is great. Um, but it's go away, bug. Fly. Eat him. Frog, eat the fly. But it's really bad for like video archive and like people finding it. I would always get questions all the time about, oh, I can't find your videos, and so then I just switched to going live on YouTube, and it's definitely helped. But yeah, I started teaching online because of quarantine, and I think I just underestimated how much people just need it, to get away from their like life essentially, and just the fact that we are still in quarantine. Oh my gosh, this fly. Is it ironic that I'm painting a frog that can't catch the fly that's right next to me? This fly is gonna drive me crazy. Shoo, fly, don't bother me. We're in Michigan. Never been to Michigan before. I haven't been to a lot of states, actually. We are going to be outlining this in black, so kind of like the drawing type. So don't get too caught up on making every single like line, like where everything meets, too perfect, because a lot of the black lines will cover up any like if two lines don't meet perfectly, or you went over just a tad bit, like don't stress out. We'll be fixing a lot of tiny little mistakes. Painting online classes. Online classes got me through COVID and is still. Got depression and anxiety. So yeah, a lot of people right now are going through depression and anxiety. A lot of people that didn't have it before. I know for me, like I'm a people person. And no, I wouldn't say that like I have any sort like diagnosed anything like that, but like I've definitely had my moments of just loneliness, and it's hard. It's definitely hard, but I'm really glad that, you know, I can give back in that sense and provide opportunity for people to, you know, get better. Do you plan to continue online once everything goes back to normal? I do, honestly. As much as I love doing in-person stuff, at this point, doing online stuff is better for my family, if that makes sense. So I have 2 kids and I'm pregnant. I am 18 weeks pregnant, almost 19. And like hauling around, like there's so much that goes into booking. Like I could only have 16 people in a class at the brew coffee spot. Obviously, like if I booked a party, that would be different. Like I could have like up to 20, but you have to bring all the supplies and all the canvases and all that stuff. And so it was definitely like a workout. And right here, like I can do this from my bedroom. I am doing it from my bedroom. This is my studio bedroom because I would love to be in a house of some sort where I could have my own space, but right now this works. But honestly, it just works. It works better for my family, and that's why like donations and everything definitely help, because honestly, it is a substitution for doing in-person stuff right now. Like I like being able to provide stuff for free, but donations, and it definitely goes a long way, and I'm definitely thankful for those who are able to give. I know not everybody is able to give, but for those who do give, I really appreciate it. So thanks to everyone anyone who became a Patreon tonight, and donated that way. It helps. It does help. Is anybody else's kids just running their mouth this entire time while they're trying to relax and paint? Or is it just my child? Oh my goodness. Are you posting this video for us to be able to access later? Yes, this will automatically be saved to my YouTube. All my live classes do. All my free live classes automatically save to my YouTube. In Patreon, I do have other classes that like you get to help choose what I teach in my Patreon, as well as you also get to help choose what I paint for my live classes. But yeah, so all my free live classes they stay free on my YouTube forever. So but yeah, I plan to continue doing this. It's better for my family, and let's just say there's a lot. I get to paint with people from all over the world, and it's pretty cool. And I feel like the online community for painting is just, everybody's so nice, and I love it. So, and I think even last week, it doesn't mean that I don't get to do parties too. So last weekend, for instance, I booked 2 parties. I booked 2 online paint nights, and where I pretty much sat down like on a Zoom call with you, with like one of them was an adult party and another one was a kid party, and so I was able to teach just this group of kids and group of people all within their own space. So that's definitely still an option. That will be an option for anyone who's not like in town. Obviously, if you're in town, you could still book one. But yeah, so that's also an option. I did that. I did 2 parties last week. Okay, that took a lot longer than I anticipated, filling that in. There's a lot of little tiny pieces. So now we get to kind of add all the details. So I'm going to go ahead and paint the eyes. So I'm going to grab my yellow. And with the same color, you can add your some yellow dots. With the dots, you can go crazy. You can add dark dots, light dots, yellow, white, whatever color dots you want. It is totally up to you. And I'm just covering his whole eye in this yellow, because I'm just going to go over the middle part in black, and it's just easier that way. I'm going to go over maybe the top part with a little bit of white, just so it's not all one color. Maybe there's like a reflection in the top part of it. Again, little details that you don't have to do, but I feel like it adds to it. And while that dries, I'm going to grab some of the same green and add just a little bit of brown to it and the tiniest bit of blue, just like we did with the other green. And how we darkened it. And then we'll use that same color, we'll use that same darkened color for some spots. I'm just going to add some darkness on this side, maybe some darkness underneath where he's being grabbed, over here, like over on the left side. Underneath. Anywhere where it would make sense that there would be a shadow. Grab some yellow and white. If you wanted to add some highlights. Literally, you can go crazy. Like, you can really just add any amount of highlights and lowlights that you want. It really brings it to light. Like, you could do it all flat colors and that would be totally fine. I think it would still look adorable. But adding those highlights and lowlights really does bring it to life. Okay. Now I'm going to add some dots. Just have this kind of like bluish green. Just going to place some dots here on his legs. Place some dots up here, maybe on his arms a little bit. I'll go back in with some yellow dots, because why not? Maybe I'll grab some white in there. Some white light dots. White light dots. where you can add some of that highlight up here. You can add some highlight on the side of his leg, or his legs, I should say. And his arms, add that there. And yeah, there's that. I'm going to blend out some of these white dots. They're kind of bright. Okay, that's better. All right, let's see. What's next? Let's go ahead and do his fingers. Thank you so much, Samantha. We will send you pics of our painting on Instagram. Awesome. Yeah, tag me for sure. All right. We are almost done. I know for kids sometimes their attention span isn't as long as a 2-hour class. But we are almost done. There's that. We're gonna do some grayish nails real quick. We're gonna kind of speed through the rest of this. There's not much left. I'm just gonna do some nails here. Alright, and now we get to finish off this, his sleeve, like the last part of his sleeve. And then we get to do the black, and then we'll be all done. There we go, there's that. Pretty quick and easy. I'm going to add just the tiniest bit more of this darker color at the bottom here. And then we get to add the, almost Lord help me, still not close. That is okay. You will be able to watch this as many times as you need to. And honestly, like, everybody goes at their own speed, and that's okay. Like, you by no means have to go as fast as I do. Like, obviously for the sake of the live class, like, it's obviously helpful, but like, everybody goes at their own speed, and that's okay. I know plenty of people who watch the replay for that, because of that, and there's no shame in that. Like, that's totally fine. Okay. Okie dokie. I'm gonna go ahead and get some new black, because this black is a little bit tainted. I'm gonna start with his eyes, because putting in his eyes just really brings this little guy together. And I just got some paint on my canvas that I didn't want there. If you add just a tiny bit of water to your black mixture, it'll also help kind of make this process a little bit easier. Bye. Bye for everyone who's leaving. Thanks for coming. Thanks for painting with me. Again, you can either tag me on Instagram, or you can enter, or you can join my Facebook group, and you can share your stuff there. Either way. Alright, so if you have a liner brush, it'll make this process way, way easier. Where's my liner brush? A liner brush looks like this. When it's dry, it'll look rather like frazzled, but once you dip it in water, it goes to a point, and it's one that essentially looks like a small round brush, but it's long, and that'll make this process so much easier. So you get your black to kind of a I like to say liquid foundation state. Where it's just smooth. So I'm mixing water into all of my black. I'm gonna go ahead and do the eyeballs of the frog real fast, and then I can just line away. And then we'll add the little dots of white at the very end. Yeah, so this last process is the last thing that we need to do. So I'm just gonna roll my brush. So I'm rolling my brush in my black. And then from there, we just add all the little details. And if you find that your brush, like the paint isn't like going on it very smoothly, try to add more water to it. And I usually work from top down, so that if I put my wrist, on the painting, I'm not gonna transfer my black to somewhere else. Because I often do that. Bye. Thanks for painting with me. I wish I could have like Star Wars music like playing while we're doing this, but copyright. Can't do that. When I get down to here, I'm always kind of moving from my left to my right because I'm right-handed, and so I want to be able to do all of the left side and then slowly move over to the right and down. So I'm kind of moving at a diagonal in a way. Do his little nose. If you can't see your lines for the face, just look at it in perspective. The mouth is just below the eyes. It's just below the eye lines, and the nose is just a little bit above that. I'm not quite halfway up with the eyes, a little bit lower than that. And bear in mind that you don't have to go perfectly around every single corner if you don't want to. Like I would say that, go around at least the outer corner, like the outer edge of most of the drawing. But for anything that's like on the inside, Like, you don't have to line everything. So for instance, like that line ends even though, the technical line of everything like keeps going. So you don't have to line every single thing. I apologize for anyone who is used to teachers who talk a lot. I'm not one of those people. I don't talk a lot while I'm focused on painting and things like that. So, yeah. Although I hear that some people prefer that instead of like talking your ear off. You're welcome. Yeah, thanks for anyone who painted with me. You are obviously free to go at any point. I'm just gonna finish my painting here, and then I will post it. I will post it in our group on Facebook. If you do post it to the group, I will have a file, like a photo album that you can add it to. Obviously, you can post it to the actual like group, but if you want it to appear in the file, like in the album, so like people later can like see all of your guys' artwork, you'll have to actually post it in that album, which is not too hard. You just go to the albums in the page and just add your photo. All right, and then don't forget to sign your beautiful work. Before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do, there's a couple little tricks that you can do for the eyes. For anyone who is still here, I will show you that real quick. Let's see. Okay. So you can grab your white. I'm going to get some fresh white right now because my white is tainted, and then we want pure white with this. So you're going to grab a little bit of white, and you're actually going to use the back end of your brush. So I have just one of my small brushes. You can use a bigger brush if you want to, but I like to use a smaller brush so I can make it bigger if I need to. So I'm going to use the tip of the handle, just kind of poke it in some of this white, and I'm going to add 2 little dots, and I can do that by kind of just going in a small circle right in the same area on the other side. And if you make one bigger than the other, you can just go to the other side and just make it a little bit bigger. Just like that. Okay? And then the other way that you can do it is grabbing a small brush and getting just a little bit of water and kind of drowning it out a little bit. And you can do you can do a little bit of a wash. So it's a little bit see-through. And I think I even did it, I didn't have enough water on there. So I'm actually going to try that again. Actually, I think that works. There you go. That's better. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. Except I think I want this one to be a little bit more opaque. I'm going to go in with a little bit more white. Just like that. And just adjust as necessary. I'm going to make this one, kind of move this one over a little bit. And I'm brightening it up. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of class. Don't forget to sign it, of course. I use this tiny little brush to sign it. It's very, very small. That's what I use to sign mine. I'm just going to sign it in that black that we had right here. There we go. There you have it. All right. Well, I hope everyone has a great rest of your night. And thank you for sticking around and hanging out. Have fun finishing your painting. And yeah. Bye, everyone.